Hello and welcome to my Lightning Arrow Deadeye 2-week recap video. This video is going to serve as a bit of a build showcase and to confirm the fact that, if you don't know already, Lightning Arrow is a fucking broken, disgusting spell in, well, attack in Path of Exile 2, and you should definitely utilise it while it's here and before it leaves us undoubtedly next league. This video, I should preface, is with my 20D setup. That's currently what I'm running right now, and it's cleared the whole game and does everything perfectly fine. I'm undercapped on resistances and I only have 44% evasion, so take that take that information into account. I don't die. That's because I do so much damage that I'm not really ever in any threat of dying. The build has so much preloaded power that a lot of other builds don't have, and then obviously it gets exceptionally stronger with the items that you can empower it with. Now, a lot of the gold sinks currently to upgrade my build further would require hundreds of divines, so I'm not currently thinking about upgrading the build any further. I'm rather going to spend these divines looking into some new builds and making my own builds more specifically. However, we're not here to talk about my own builds, we're here to talk about the power of Lightning Arrow Deadeye, and what you can see on the screen is what you get. If you're a new player or you haven't played Lightning Arrow Deadeye and are thinking of switching into it, this is basically the gameplay loop. I've currently got a unique helmet that makes me count as surrounded all the time. There's a gem link in the game called Defy. Defy level 2 allows you to not be capped by your mana, basically, so when you run out of mana you're still allowed to use the gem that the support is linked to, which is very strong. You can basically run around the whole map holding down right click and never stopping. The rower, of course, comes in handy there. It makes you 80% more immune to the movement speed penalties of these attacks, so it makes you really fast still, which is super good for this build and really broken. I mean, every build would use it if they could. Other than that, the surrounded nodes on the tree that I've taken and the crit nodes. So the surrounded nodes give you 200% increased attack damage and 20% increased attack speed. Those are really strong. So that was why I considered upgrading into that. When I bought the unique helmet, it was around 4 divines, and currently it sits about 6 divines. I then crafted a crit bow and crit quiver, which takes the rest of the build up, plus the other pieces of the build, up to around 20 divine mark. Now, there's not much else that can be said for the build. It excels at all kinds of content and can do all map mods. I'm sure that this build would be very strong at any kind of endgame farm that you want to do with it. If you're currently playing a build that's a little bit slower, the reason why people tend to go for Lightning Arrow Deadeye, at least in Path of Exile 1, and it's definitely true here too, is that it has such a zoom playstyle, and the movement speed benefit that you get from utilizing it and the speed that you can clear maps just outweighs playing other builds in terms of farming capabilities. You want to be inside maps more often and in your hideout for as little as possible, and that's definitely possible with a build like Lightning Arrow Deadeye. You can clear maps super fast, super long chains, super strong AoE clears with Herald of Thunder. My abilities are not even level 20, guys. Really, I do not even have Rakiata's Flow. I'll show you my gems at the end of the video so you can have a look for yourself. Everything is the exact same numbers that you're seeing here and in the clips that I showed at the start of the video. So it's just a really strong build overall, and even on a budget you can see that it works brilliant. One of the negatives that I could say for the build is that you don't really get to experience any kind of visceral combat, which is kind of a shame because a lot of Path of Exile 2 is built around that system. Seeing what the boss mechanics are, dodging and things like that, you kind of bypass that fact. However, it does, that's kind of the cost you pay if you want a build that can do all of the things that I described before, right? So this is the build. My gloves aren't too bad. I've got T1 flat and attack speed and some reses. Everything else is pretty negligible. Just reses, a little bit of evasion. A lot of it I bought on the day 1 of the league after I finished the campaign. Not even cap fire res, 47% evasion with no tailwind stacks. Very bad build, guys. Well, not build, but, you know, armor that I'm wearing. You guys can make a much more well-rounded character than mine, but this is just sort of to show off the fact that the upsides of the build are so high you can sort of negate it even if you wanted to. Don't do it like I've done it, obviously, though. You can make a much more well-rounded build than I have. And we'll skip towards the passive tree. I've gone down here, grabbed the surrounded nodes, that's 20% increased attack speed there, and the one on the left is rounding up to about 200% increased attack damage. Got all the dual nodes as well. That adds a lot of extra power. Grabbed crit below. Haven't got the node that allows you to allocate via Valpacks. I don't think I need the extra move speed. Coming up here, I've negated some extra damage in order to go crit and some evasion at the top of the tree. So that kind of wraps up the build showcase. You've been able to see how Lightning Arrow works and seen what sort of setup I'm running on it and making work. I've been able to do Zest all the way up to a 150 stone, whatever you might call that one, what do you call it, with the fragments, 150 fragments, so that's the highest tier Zest you can do. So at that point I realised I didn't really need much more power, and so now I'm focusing on a new build. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.